welcome back to eTalk. Our fashion expert Kathleen is with us today. Welcome, Kathleen. And she's going to be letting us know the ins and outs of designer purses and how you can tell if they're real or fake. So, Kathleen, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so basically, a lot of people nowadays, you think, well, how do I know if I'm going to be getting a real purse
especially
or
when
fake
people are
purse?
always trying to sell them to you.
Exactly. One way is you can go to a department store
Okay.
or a boutique, like the Coach store or
Right.
the Louis Vuitton store, and that way you know that you're going to be getting the real deal.
Exactly.
But a lot of people nowadays, they either buy something online from Amazon or from eBay because they want to get a deal, or they'll go to a store like TJ Maxx or a thrift store, and there you can't really tell.
You're taking a little bit of a risk.
You are. You're taking a little bit of a risk.
Don't really know.
So this is why this question is asked by so many women today, and they want to know, am I really getting ripped
It's
off?
such a good point because everyone's buying things online, so it's like, how are you supposed
Exactly.
to know?
How are you supposed to know?
Right.
So these are some tips to help you figure that out. The first and probably most important thing to look at is workmanship. An example of that would be if you look at the stitching on something, for example. So we have right here, this is a fake Michael Kors.
See, how do you even know?
Well,
now we're gonna know. But
see, this is a real one. And some
Okay.
stitching patterns and how many stitches they use per centimeter or per inch are trade secrets.
Wow.
So if you take a reel that you know is real, and then you look at it and you compare it with a fake, you can tell based off of that. So that's one way to look. And also, you don't want to find any loose threads or anything like that. See, for example, on this one, you can see how the label is coming off.
Oh, you can pull it off. Wow.
Yeah, if you wanted to, it's probably just glued on. You can really just rip that off.
Okay.
Whereas something like this Kate Spade, which is real, it's on there. It's not going anywhere. There's no loose stitching. It's very clean. No back and forth stitching at the end. And also, if you see a logo getting cut off, it's probably not real.
Oh, that's a really interesting
Exactly.
one.
See, this is a fake Chanel and how it wraps. And if this was like a stitch right through the middle, then it's not going to be fake because no company is going to cut off their logo. So no stitches would be running through any logos or anything like that. And no letter is going to be divided on the side. That's one way to tell. Also, just if you feel it, sometimes you can tell. You know, if you look at this is a real coat, you can tell this is real leather. If you scratch it, it's going to have a scratch on it. You know, because it's real.
Yeah, so it's like natural.
And so something like if you're going to look at coated, this is kind of supposed to be coated, emulating a Kate Spade or something like that. And you can just feel the difference between that. The two different types of leathers. This is very thin.
Much
you can
thin.
almost
it's really soft too.
poke
This is
it
like
through.
actually you can feel that
it has some heft to it, some weight. It's very sturdy. So that's definitely another way to tell.
So maybe it is a little bit easier to figure it out actually.
It's a little bit more easy than you think. And also, there's a lot of spelling errors on fake purses. Like Coach will be spelled with a G, for example.
That's really awkward.
Yeah, it's very weird. And so if you look at, can I have that Michael Kors?
Yes.
And another important thing is to look at the zippers. It's really all in the details. So these zippers, see how they're plain?
Yeah.
There's nothing on them. A real Michael Kors will have their name
really
etched in there on the zipper. And the zipper placement matters too. A lot of styles won't have the pocket right in the front.
So really look for like the realness. If they're not gonna like jip their own name, obviously. So like you want to look for like real logo,
where it's made. A lot of Louis Vuittons are not made in France. So if they say made in France, it's usually not right.
Wow, that's so interesting. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen, for joining us today. Looks like we're all out of time, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, Jordan and I are going to be sharing our favorite innovative apps. And I guarantee you, you have not heard of some of these. Stay tuned.